Um, because I'm a visual artist and a musician, I often get asked like, what's the difference between the two in terms of like navigating, them as careers. And I used to always give them a very like personal answer, like, oh, it's just all the same. It all flows through, just different conduits, whatever. But I started, as of late, I've started thinking about them both through, specifically as an African American artist, through the lens of music. Is an like performing music as a Black American is the industry responds to us through the lens of minstrelsy, and in the art industry is more connected to imperialism and mining and displaying the creative exports of Black and brown people um, throughout the world. And when I started looking at those things like that, it really kind of put stuff in perspective about what I wanted and what I was experiencing, or what I've seen thousands of artists experience in both worlds. Specifically, as an African American artist in the music industry, that the context in which you are allowed to survive most times, whether you are an active participant or not, is through the lens of minstrelsy. And when you look at, just look at, you know what I mean? I don't have to go into like, just look at it and just take a look at it, and like divorce yourself from like whether somebody's your favorite or not, or this, that, and the other. Like, Black people in this country have been performing for white folks for as long as we've been here. Like, as long as we've been here, we've been having to perform for white folks and to create the art that entertains them and makes them comfortable. And that is what it's been. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even so deep. It's just that's what it's been. And the moment that you step outside of that, you tend to um, be isolated and pushed out of the industry. And so when you look at artists who have certain ideas in their work, or whether they make a good song or not, or make a hit record or not, um, their ability to exist in the mainstream is directly connected to that. And we all kind of know what that is. We know that. But to like actively kind of think about what you create through that lens, and knowing whether or not it can exist in the mainstream market through that, also changes is how you pursue uh, the releasing and the making of said thing, because you have to take that into account. And so for me, when I look at every Black artist that exists in the mainstream, they either uh, take up a space of Black exceptionalism, which is, oh my God, we couldn't believe that you could do this, right? Like, we didn't know that you could be this talented, this lyrical, this whatever, this articulate, this whatever, right? Or you're kind of performing various forms of minstrelsy, and not all minstrelsy is um, um, a Tyler Perry movie. You know what I mean? Or but sometimes it is that. Sometimes it's more subtle. Sometimes it is more outrageous. Sometimes it's, sexy red, right? Sometimes it's more subtle. And as long as the audience for these stories, for these things, um, is in relation to that, that's what it is. And you hear artists, various different Black artists who've existed in the mainstream and kind of pulled away from it. They speak about um, having to mine their trauma to, make money in front of a white audience. And you see artists who tell black African American stories, are from certain cities, from certain environments, and that their fan base is mostly white folks who are getting to kind of peer into um, the cage of what their existence is in this country. Like Vince Staples talks about that, and he has a video that kind of talks about that. It's like him performing this music that is based in his trauma and his experiences. Um, and then at the end of the video, there's this white family looking through this glass into this environment that is where he was born and raised, and like that's most black entertainers experience, is us kind of mining the things that have happened to us and our traumas and our experiences from living in this kind of simulation, this fucking thing that we're in. Um, that's a lot of the time what we are having to do. And you know, if you become rich and successful, it's all good, right? But it's like that's what that is, and that's also a form of the things too. And it's very easy to talk about the shucking and the jiving and the all of the different things that happen and all of the different ways that hypersexualization and all of this stuff is a part of it, and violence and all of this stuff, and mammying and like just all these various different things that exist. But if you look again, if you just look at the mainstream, you don't have to look long to start to see these qualities. And when you go into these label meetings and you go into these conversations with people, you start to see that that's the lens that you're being viewed through. And if you are not providing that, then you cannot participate in this thing. And in terms of the arts, I mean, I don't have to go so deep into that either. If you just name a black artist, name any artist, to be honest, um, it's through that lens. When you look at the function of a museum, when you look at the function of a commercial gallery, when you look at the function of all of these things and how you are navigated as an artist, as a creative person, it falls into that, into this same system of these poor black and brown people, or whatever it is. Work is valued this, their exports are valued this, but their lives are not valued this thing. And their lives are only even tolerable to us as elite, wealthy institutions and this, that, and other, and museums that are connected to old money that goes on for this many years and so on and so forth. You're only really valuable to these folks when you can produce those things, but you'll never be as valuable as the work, and the work will never be as valuable to you as it can be for them. And that is the kind of imperialistic nature of the thing, that it's better in somebody else's hands, that they can make more use of it in their museum, in their hallway, in their, you know, storage collection or whatever it is, and then they can sell it to these entities for, you know, millions and millions of dollars, and they are the ones that reap the benefits of that because they found you when you were poor and nobody, or an up and coming artist, and they purchased your work for this, and then you OD'd in this year, and now your work is selling for $3 million and $4 million, when you were alive, these people did not value you properly. And that is the same way that they come into our land and our countries and our continents, and they look at us and they look at the land, and they completely devalue it for us.